ॐ लक्ष्मीविलासं जगदानिवासं भूदेववासं शरदिन्दुहासं लङ्काविनाशं भुवनं प्रकाशं श्रीरामचन्द्रं सततं नमामि. The author of Ramayana, Valmiki, is also known as Prachetasa and Bhargava in the work. Not much is known about Valmiki. Being an author, he has not written much about himself in the text. In fact, his very name is a metaphor for the task which he did. Valmika means ant hill. Because he was meditating so deeply, forgetting the world around him, the legend goes that an ant hill developed around him. That is why he got the name Valmiki. In fact, the two other names which we find in Ramayana, that is Prachetasa and Bhargava, are also not exactly the names of the poet. In fact, this is very much in lines with the Indian tradition where a person is named based on the work he did or any special character he had. The later poets usually made it a point to mention something about themselves in the poem. But Valmiki has not given any details about himself in the work which made him so popular. But there is something very interesting about Valmiki and Ramayana, that Valmiki becomes an actor in the play written by him. In the first part of Ramayana, he gets a very small role. In fact, we find him residing in Chitrakuta, where Rama comes to live when he starts his exile. In fact, that is the place where Bharata meets him, and in all probability, Valmiki must have been a witness to this interesting conversation between Rama and Bharata. Apart from this, we do not find anywhere the mention of Valmiki in the first part of Ramayana. It is only in Uttarakanda that he gets a major role to play. In fact, he becomes a very central character in the climax of the play. But one more interesting point to note here is, as with the later works, in Ramayana, the author is not the narrator of the poem. In fact, the entire narration style of Ramayana is very, very different. The poem starts in a very different note, but the story of Ramayana that we know as of today is told to us as if it is narrated by Kusha and Lava in the court of Sri Rama. Now, how did Lava and Kusha get to Rama's court and what was happening in Rama's court at that time is known to us only in Uttarakanda. In fact, the entire narration style is so complex that if one starts reading from the start to the end, he will be perplexed to know which began first and which began later. If one tries to put the entire storyline in a very linear fashion, it may be said like this, that after Rama killed Ravana and came back to Ayodhya and was a king, Valmiki started writing this poem of Ramayana. And in between, he had to play a very important role taking care of Sita when Rama sent Sita to exile. In fact, as with many popular myths, one of the most famous myth about Rama sending Sita away is that he simply banished her away. That is not true in Ramayana. In fact, Rama very specifically mentions to Lakshmana to leave Sita at Valmiki's ashrama. So then Valmiki becomes a very important player in the entire story. He takes care of Sita, and Kusha and Lava are born in their ashram. And after he finished writing the entire Ramayana, he teaches that to Kusha and Lava, and at that time Rama begins the Ashwamedha Yaga, and Kusha and Lava, they go to the court of Sri Rama and they start narrating the story. In fact, after the very first day of narration, Rama becomes so impressed with the work that he asks Valmiki along with Sita to be summoned in the court the very next day. And in the next day, if the very tragic event of Sita going deep inside the earth happens and Rama is utterly devastated. And it's only then Valmiki says that he has already written the next part of the play, that is the future of the play, and Rama should listen to that in isolation. Rama listens to the story. That is how the entire Ramayana is narrated to us. So, though Valmiki is the author of the text, it is through Kusha and Lava's narration of Ramayana in the court of Sri Rama that we get to listen to the entire story of Ramayana. As with any good poet, in the work of Ramayana, the poet goes into the background and the work gets more importance. The entire storytelling techniques which Valmiki has used in Ramayana is unparalleled. In fact, there are many times where he has to repeat the entire story of Ramayana, and every time he uses a very different technique to narrate the story, not missing any point in between. In fact, he is so good in his writing skills that he knows when to stop, pause, and give a very big narrative. Sometimes one event, one emotion, one day is narrated in multiple shlokas, and sometimes entire years and every major event is told in a single shloka. Though multiple versions of Ramayana exist, it is Valmiki's Ramayana which has stood the test of time. Therefore, only his words should be considered as authentic. He has explained the story as it has happened. Later authors have tried to defend some characters or have tried deliberately to bring our sympathy to some characters and therefore have changed the storylines. Though all the other works may have their own merit, it is Valmiki's Ramayana alone which commands our respect and devotion. Many people still today say that because they do not know many personal details of the poet, that is, they do not know what was his time, where he was born, which caste he was born into, therefore they cast many questions about his work itself. That is not correct, because just by knowing where a poet was born or at what time he lived, which caste he was born to, doesn't give us any benefit. It is better for us to focus on his work, enjoy it, and try to adopt it as much as possible in our daily lives. That is the greatest respect we can pay to the greatest of the poets of all times. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यां परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण वयं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु।